Let's face it, when most people think about going off-grid, they imagine solar panels, rainwater harvesting, or even tiny homes. But there's one topic that's, well, a little less glamorous, but way more important. What happens when nature calls? That's right. If you're living off-grid, camping long-term, or building a sustainable retreat, you're gonna need a toilet solution. And no, digging a hole every time isn't a solution. That's where a composting toilet comes in. In this video, we're diving into the exact steps to build a fully functional, odor-free, outdoor composting toilet using simple materials. It's eco-friendly, doesn't need plumbing, and can save you hundreds, even thousands of dollars over time. Plus, it's a major step towards self-reliance. So if you're serious about sustainability, sanitation, and off-grid living, stay tuned. This is one project you'll wish you built sooner. Why composting toilets matter. Let's talk about why you'd even consider building a composting toilet in the first place. Most modern toilets are dependent on city water systems, septic tanks, and chemical treatments. They use clean, drinkable water to flush human waste, a valuable resource literally going down the drain. But a composting toilet? That's sustainability at its finest. It turns human waste, yep, poop and pee, into safe, usable compost over time. With the right setup, it's hygienic, odorless, and surprisingly easy to maintain. This is especially important for anyone living off-grid, in a cabin, on a boat, or homesteading. Not only does it reduce water waste, but it also eliminates the need for septic systems, costly infrastructure, and maintenance headaches. Plus, it's great for the planet. Instead of polluting waterways, you're closing the loop, returning nutrients to the soil where they belong. It's like nature's recycling system, right in your backyard. So whether you're prepping for emergencies, building a bug-out location, or just want an independent toilet system, a composting toilet is the perfect solution. Let's build one. What you'll need: tools and materials. Before you break ground, let's get prepped with the tools and materials. This build is simple and budget-friendly, but planning is key. Here's what you need: a large 5-gallon bucket or multiple buckets if you want to rotate. Toilet seat. You can buy a standalone one or repurpose one from an old toilet. Wood for the frame. Plywood and 2x4s work great. Sawdust, coconut coir, or peat moss for covering after use. Compost bin or separate compost pile, located away from water sources. Ventilation pipe, optional but ideal. Hinges and screws. Jigsaw, drill, measuring tape, exterior paint or sealant for weather protection. Optional but nice to have. Urine diverter, separates solids and liquids to reduce odor. Privacy structure or enclosure. More on that later. All in, this project can cost less than $50, $100 if you use reclaimed wood and basic supplies. And unlike flushing toilets, there are no utility bills attached to this one. It's a long-term investment in freedom and functionality. Building the frame and toilet box. Let's start building. First, you'll construct a sturdy wooden box that will house your 5-gallon bucket and support the toilet seat. This box needs to be strong enough to sit on and tall enough to comfortably accommodate the bucket inside. Start with a plywood base and cut out 4 legs using 2x4s. Screw them into each corner. You want the height to be around 18 to 20 inches, similar to a regular toilet. Next, cut a hole in the top of the box the same diameter as your bucket opening. Use a jigsaw to get a clean circle. Then, attach the toilet seat over the hole. Some people hinge the top for easy access to the bucket, or you can make the whole lid lift up. Either way, make sure it's secure, stable, and comfortable. This box can be as basic or as fancy as you want. You could add storage for sawdust, a toilet paper holder, or even paint it to match your aesthetic. But function first. It needs to be easy to clean, durable, and fit your bucket snugly. Congrats! You've got the base of your composting toilet. Setting up the composting system. Now let's talk about how this toilet actually works. The key principle is simple. You use the bucket to collect waste, and after each use, you cover it with a carbon-rich material like sawdust, coconut coir, or peat moss. This absorbs moisture and starts the composting process while also controlling odor. You want to keep a container of sawdust nearby with a scoop or cup for easy access. After every use, toss in a handful to completely cover the waste. It's called the cover material, and it's what keeps things dry, smell-free, and compost-ready. Some setups use urine diverters to separate liquids and solids. That's optional, but it can reduce odor and speed up composting. If not, The sawdust will handle both just fine. Once the bucket is full, seal it with a tight-fitting lid and swap in a clean one. The full bucket should be emptied into a designated composting pile that's far from water sources and food gardens. More on that in a minute. But remember, no chemicals, no bleach, no synthetic cleaners. This is a living system, and we want microbes to do their job. Quick question, would you ever use a composting toilet? Or maybe you already have one? I know it's not everyone's favorite topic, but trust me, it's one of the most empowering, sustainable systems you can build. Drop your thoughts in the comments, even if it's a nope, not for me. I'd love to hear your take. And if you're still with me, go ahead and hit that like button. It tells me you're serious about building smarter, not harder. Now let's make sure we're doing this safely. Building a safe outdoor enclosure. While a toilet box is essential, it's not complete without a privacy structure, especially if it's going outdoors. You can build a simple outhouse-style enclosure using pallet wood, plywood, or even old fencing. Make sure the enclosure has good airflow. A composting toilet thrives with ventilation. Cut vents near the top or install a small ventilation pipe that carries smells away from the structure. Bonus points if you include a solar-powered fan to keep air moving. Place the structure on a flat, dry spot that's elevated to avoid flooding. You can add gravel under the base for drainage. And if you're in a rainy area, make sure the roof has an overhang or water seal. For extra comfort, hang a hook for bags, a shelf for toilet paper, and keep a bucket of sawdust inside. Want to go all out? Add a solar light, mirror, or hand washing station outside. This is your off-grid bathroom. Make it something you're proud to use. Because let's be real, just because it's eco doesn't mean it can't be comfortable and functional. Composting and waste management. All right, the moment of truth. What do you do with the full buckets? Composting human waste, often called humanure, requires patience, care, and the right environment. Designate a separate compost pile or bin at least 200 feet from any water source or food garden. Build a compost bin using pallets or fencing and cover each layer of waste with straw, leaves, or more sawdust. This balances the nitrogen from the waste with carbon from the materials, just like any other compost. Now here's the key: time and heat. Human waste needs to sit for 12 to 24 months to fully break down and become safe. During this time, microbes will kill pathogens and turn everything into rich, earthy compost. You can use the final compost on non-edible plants, trees, or landscaping. Do not use it on vegetables or herbs unless you're absolutely confident in the system's safety and temperature regulation. This process might sound gross, but it's how nature has worked for thousands of years. We're just letting it happen in a safe, contained way, off-grid style. Maintenance tips and long-term use. Once you've got your system built and running, maintenance is actually super easy. Unlike chemical toilets or RV systems, there's no messy blue liquid, no need for septic pumping, just nature doing its thing. The golden rule: never let the bucket overflow. Once it's 2/3 full, seal it and switch. Keep your sawdust supply topped up and make sure the cover material is always dry and absorbent. Every few months, give the inside of the toilet box a wipe down with vinegar or natural cleaner. If you start noticing smell, it usually means you're not using enough cover material, so adjust as needed. In colder climates, composting will slow down, but that's okay. The process will continue once temperatures rise. Just keep your compost bins covered and dry. And don't worry, after a few weeks, using your composting toilet becomes second nature. It's clean, simple, and saves water every single day. This is off-grid living at its best. Smart, sustainable, and shockingly low maintenance. And there you have it, your complete guide to building an outdoor composting toilet. From the simple tools to full composting management, you now have a system that's clean, eco-friendly, and doesn't need a single drop of plumbing. If you found this helpful, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, because we've got more off-grid DIY projects coming your way. Got questions about composting, solar setups, or building your own off-grid home? Drop them in the comments. I'd love to help. Thanks for watching, and remember, being off-grid doesn't mean going without. It means building smarter, living cleaner, and doing it all on your own terms.